Today I want to talk about a game bundle from Green Man Gaming. It's the Gearbox bundle and it has Borderlands 3 Ultimate, Borderlands Game of the Year Enhanced Edition, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Risk of Rain Returns, Tribes of Midgard, Blanc, and Homeworld 3. So 7 games in total. And this video is sponsored by Green Man Gaming. They've asked me to share this bundle with you. And I'm also going to be giving away Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 1. If you want to participate in the giveaway, just leave a comment under this video and you'll be automatically entered. And in 7 days time, so on the 18th of August, I'll announce the winner. Now with this video, I really wanted to test how all of these games run on the Steam Deck. And with one exception, I think they're all pretty great. And this bundle is actually pretty good if you're a Steam Deck owner and you mainly play on the Steam Deck. And I will have an affiliate link in the description if you choose to purchase this bundle. So starting with Borderlands 3, because that's probably the game that a lot of you will actually want to play. So it's the Ultimate Edition, all 6 DLC campaigns, the cosmetic packs, the full thing. On the Steam Deck, this runs at 60 FPS on low settings, but it can dip under that. In heavier fights, lots of enemies, lots of particle effects, it can drop even to 45 FPS. It's not constantly, but there are some drops. If that bothers you, I would say cap it at 45 FPS and you're gonna have a pretty good experience. You can even bump some of the settings up to medium and have that 45 FPS cap, and you're gonna have a great time. The game has full controller support, it works out of the box, it has the correct prompts, so no messing around with any of the layouts, and battery life on the OLED is around 2 hours and 30 minutes at 60 FPS. Moving on to Borderlands 1 Game of the Year Edition Enhanced. This is the original game with some reworked visuals, a better UI, and all 4 DLCs. Performance-wise, this is the easiest Borderlands game to run because it's pretty old now. It's 90 FPS on max settings, it's a 2009 game with a coat of paint, so that's pretty much what we can expect, and battery life on the OLED is 4 hours. Now there is one annoying part about this game. Technically this game has controller support, however on the Steam Deck it actually thinks it's running on a PC, and when you play with a controller it will show you mouse and keyboard binds on the screen. So you're looking at prompts telling you to press E when you should be pressing X. You kinda get used to it, and honestly after about 20 minutes you know the layout anyway, but it is a pretty annoying thing, so that's something worth knowing before you decide to play this game. Next up is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and this is the Chaotic Great Edition. It's Borderlands loot shooter but a fantasy with D&D framing and a lot more melee weapons than range ones. I think this one is the fiddliest in the bundle in terms of performance. On low settings you can mostly hold 60, but like Borderlands 3 it will drop to 45 FPS in some busier areas, and again probably 45 FPS lock will give you the cleanest experience here. What I personally landed on is a mix, some settings on low, some settings on medium, and a 45 FPS cap. And in terms of battery life, it's about 2 hours and 30 minutes on the OLED. Next up is Risk of Rain Returns. This is one I would point at if you're buying this bundle mainly for the Steam Deck. This game is great on the Steam Deck. It's a remake of the first Risk of Rain. It's 2D roguelike. You drop in, you scale, the difficulty climbs on a timer. You can easily reach 60 FPS and even 90 FPS on max settings without the Steam Deck breaking a sweat. And it has UI scaling, which I think is a pretty good option, especially on the Steam Deck. A lot of 2D games with dense UI are unreadable on the Steam Deck. This one is great. Battery life is close to 7 hours on the OLED. That's a full transatlantic flight. And that's a full train journey. I think it's great battery. It's a great game. It runs perfectly. It lasts forever. Easily the best Steam Deck game in this bundle. You can also play co-op online or even locally. Next up is Tribes of Midgard. This is like a top-down Valheim Norse survival game where you can build a village, you can defend it. There's got a day and night cycle, and you can do solo or co-op. You can pretty much get 60 FPS on high settings, but with shadows drop to medium. If you just go with a high preset, it's gonna drop below 60 FPS, especially once you build a pretty large village. Shadows seems to be the expensive setting here, so I changed that one to medium and I got pretty solid results. The game also has controller support, which for a survival game which is heavy on menus is really a big plus, and battery life is just under 3 hours on the OLED. This is a solid pick. pretty good game to enjoy on the Steam Deck. Next one is Blanc, and this is the odd one out in this bundle. I've never heard of this game before, and I had no idea Gearbox are publishing it, but it's a really interesting game. You play as both a wolf cub and a fawn lost in the snow, and you control both of them at the same time. The game is also black and white, which is really interesting. It's really arty, and you control one animal with one analog stick and the other animal with the other analog stick. So half of the controller is for one animal, the other half is for the other one. I think it's also hand-drawn. There's no dialogue, but it's a pretty interesting game. You can also play local co-op, and each person with a controller can take control of one animal, which I think is the better way to play it if you have somebody around, but you can totally play it solo as well. You can easily get 60 FPS and 3 hours and 30 minutes of battery life on the OLED. I think it's a pretty short game, but I really like it more than I expected to. And the last game in the bundle is Homeworld 3. This is the one I would tell you to skip on the Steam Deck. It's a space real-time strategy with full 3D movement, so you're moving units on 3 axes, and the interface is built entirely around a mouse. There is no controller support whatsoever. It will launch on the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck will translate the controls for you, but even with the trackpads, even with gyro, doing precise unit selection and camera work in a game that wasn't designed for it, it's just not a great experience. Other than that, performance-wise, it runs pretty good, but I don't think it's meant to be played with a controller, and I don't think it's meant to be played on a Steam Deck. If you have a PC, you can buy it and you can play it there. It's a great game, but not so much on the Steam Deck. With this bundle, you can choose how much you want to pay, and you will get different games depending on that. I think if you pay $15, you get all 7 games. I think it's a pretty good bundle. A lot of the games are really great experience on the Steam Deck. That's gonna be it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike and let me know what I can do to improve. If you're into Steam, Steam Deck, Steam hardware and gaming handhelds, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.